Hi guys, we're the Wolfmans, and we are building our second dream home right across the street from our first custom home build. Last week, we walked you through some of our HVAC and plumbing rough-ins. For rough-ins, you always want to start with the items that will take up the most space. So with that said, we began with HVAC, as HVAC ducts take up more space than anything else. Next would be the plumbing, and finally you want to finish with the electrical, as these wires are the easiest to work with and you can generally find space for these almost anywhere. Today we are going to walk you through some of the electrical rough-ins and low voltage wiring, which is the wiring for cable, internet, speakers, and alarm. We also walk you through the importance of a good electrical plan as well as lighting plan. So let's take you on site to see how we did this. All right guys, so we're on site. So Anna and I today are just going to walk through our electrical plan. So
fun stuff.
Yeah, it is fun stuff actually. Basically, we're just going to do a walkthrough of the house and figure out all the areas where we think we need plugs, where we think we need where we want our light switches, what makes the most sense, so we can have everything organized and ready for the electrician.
Yeah, so I think the key part when you're doing an electrical plan walkthrough is really to try to envision how you're going to use the space.
Yes.
Does it make sense to have the light switches in a certain spot? Like when you come into a room and it's dark, where would you want to have the switch? Where does it make sense? Or when you leave a room, what's the easiest, most convenient place? Also, how much light do you want in a certain room? What kind of light? Is it pot lights? Is it one central light? So all these things you kind of have to work through. Also in terms of outlets, you got to think what kind of appliances do you use and what kind of things do you want outlets for? So for example, in the kitchen, for where do you see yourself cooking and prepping and wanting to have certain things like blenders and mixers. One of the beautiful things about building a custom home is you get to decide where you want to place these things, and you want to make sure that you have those plugs convenient. So just really try to think how you're going to use the space and where and for what kind of things and where does it make sense to put plugs and things like that.
Okay guys, so just to give you a quick glimpse of what's going on here, we're going to be going through sort of two electrical plans basically. This first one is going to show us through where all the outlets in the house are. So each of these blue sort of circle things is going to be an outlet. The green ones are for where the central vac locations are going to be. And then we also talk about our low voltage wiring, which is basically cable and internet and things like that, where you want those outlets. So the next thing that we're going to go through, which is the plan that looks a lot more complicated with a lot more lines on it, is basically for where we want all our lights.
All right, so we're just in here in the kitchen area. Sorry for the loud noise. We got some guys outside cutting some stone, and we're just here trying to finalize the lighting in the kitchen. So we created our lighting plan, and one thing that's really important to us is that we have a lot of light in the kitchen, or really throughout the house. We really like it bright in the house. So we added what we thought was going to be a fair amount of lights. Now our electricians have installed the light plates, but they think we are a little crazy and they think it might be like an interrogation room in there. So we're just going through to make sure we're not overdoing it. Now obviously our pot lights are going to have dimmers on them. But the last thing we want is a room that's even just slightly too dark. I'd rather too bright than too dark, because we can put them on a dimmer. But we're just going through that now, and wish us luck.
Hey guys, we are standing in my future office, which I'm super excited about because this is a new room we were able to create that we don't have in our current house. And we did that by kind of optimizing the layout and the floor plan upstairs. So I'm super excited. This is just to give you a snapshot of like what the day today looks like. The electricians are working on this like makeshift table, and they got all like our electrical plans here of how everything is set up. These are basically all our wall plugs, these little blue circles, and this basically shows which light switch controls what light. So this is their map, and you can see down below here is a lot of the electrical rough-ins are well underway in some of these rooms. Like that's pretty much these white little wires you can see are running through. These are for little pot lights kind of going down across here, and of course part of the plan was to figure out how spaced out we want them to be in exactly which locations. When you put things on the map, when you put things on the plan, there's less room for error, there's less room for creativity by trades to kind of put their thoughts on where they think it's best to go. Like, you kind of get to decide where you want it to go. So we put it all on plan, and now they're executing it. So pretty cool.
Today we're actually going to be doing some low voltage wiring. So basically that means the wiring for the cable, for the TV, the speaker wires, the Cat 6 wires. So in the last build, I did that along with my AV guy. This time, I think I can figure it out on my own with a little help from the boss over here. But we're going to have a little fun with it, and fingers crossed we don't screw anything up. Wish us luck. Okay, in the basement, so we are actually finished our low voltage wiring for the full basement now. So we've got our theater room is done over here. We've got our back speakers here for the theater room. We've got everything running to the mechanical room. We've got our gym over here, and we've got our other basement bedroom over here. So basement's fully finished. Going to try and bring up the rest of the stuff in the next few days to the main floor and upstairs, and then we'll be all set our low voltage.
So thanks for watching, guys. Please leave us a comment or a like to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe to follow along our home building journey. Over the next episodes, we'll share how we start selecting finishes for the house, and we'll continue to take you through the on-site work for the next stage, which is drywall and insulation. See you next time.